So this semester we are going to be reading two different plays in actually a trilogy cycle. We are going to read Oedipus and Antigone. These plays were written by Sophocles. So first what I wanted to do is talk to you a little bit about Greek drama. What I need you to do is fill in your outlines as we go through the presentation. I want you to imagine a film, a television program, or a play with men playing the roles of women, actors chanting lyrical passages in unison, or performers reciting lines where their faces are completely concealed from the viewers. This is a little bit what Greek tragedy was like, Greek theater. So I want you to keep that in mind as we are talking about the Greek theater. So Greek tragedy originated in religious festivals in honor of Dionysus, who of course is the god of wine and fertility. Dionysus was the suffering god who died each winter but was reborn each spring. The great city Dionysia of Athens was a festival in March or April, and it lasted 5 days. Dithyrambs are choral lyrics in honor of Dionysus, and they were performed by a chorus of 50 men who sang and danced around a public altar. According to tradition, a goat was sacred to Dionysus, or perhaps was sacrificed to the god. So therefore, tragedy, also known as a goat song, was born. So an Athenian named Thespis won a prize for tragedy in 534 or 535 BC. He was the first to introduce an actor or an answerer who dialogued with the leader of the chorus. Thespis was credited with the invention of the drama. To these early beginnings, the three great playwrights of the 5th century BC Athens brought their own achievements. So first we have Aeschylus. Aeschylus's introduction of a second actor made possible dialogue independent of the chorus. Thus, as the dialogue became more important, the chorus lessened in importance. Aeschylus wrote his plays to form trilogies, 3 plays based on a single story or theme. These tragedies, along with a satyr play, which was a type of comic relief, were performed on a given day of the festival. 3 dramatists each took 1 day to present their works, with prizes distributed at the conclusion of the festival. Sophocles wrote more than 120 plays, but only 7 have survived. His contributions to the theater included the introduction of a third actor, the fixing of the chorus at 15 men, and the use of painted scenery. Antigone was said to belong to the Oedipus cycle. However, Antigone was presented in 441 BC, Oedipus Rex in 430 BC, and Oedipus at Colonus in 401 BC, which was after Sophocles died. Thus, he did not follow the tradition of Aeschylus in presenting interrelated themes as contest entries. A contemporary of Sophocles, Euripides, has been called the most tragic of the 3 great playwrights. He sought to humanize his characters and make his conflicts more real. Thus, he reduced the role of the chorus, detaching it from the main action. He employed the device of opening drama with a speech reviewing events and was known for his use and overuse of Deus ex machina, or the God from the Machine, which is basically an unexpected ending with an intervention from heaven. He overused this device. Next, I would like you to look at your diagram of a typical Greek theater. And we are going to discuss the different parts, and I'd like you to label that on your sheet and also fill in the information on the outline. Thousands of Greeks attended the theater. Originally, observers probably stood to watch performances or sat on the hillside. Later, wooden seats, bleacher style, were installed and still later stone benches. This horseshoe-shaped viewing area was the theatron, or watching place, and held as many as 15,000 to 16,000 citizens. According to one tradition, only citizens, male free Greeks, could attend. Another belief had certain sections of the amphitheater reserved for women and slaves. State officials, priests, and dignitaries had front row seats. In front of and surrounded on three sides by the viewing area was the orchestra or dancing place. The thymele, which is an altar to Dionysus, stood at the center. It was here that the interaction between actors and chorus took place. Behind the orchestra was a changing hut or dressing room, the Skene building. After the inclusion of painted scenery, the facade of this building, the proskenion, served as a backdrop for the plays. The parados was an entrance to the orchestra used by the chorus and often by the spectators. These entrances were at either end of the Skene building. Our word hypocrite derived from the word for actor because the actor played a role or deceived an audience. Originally, the actor and playwright were one. Even after the second actor was introduced, dramatists continued to take a role in their own plays. Later, the chief actors were played by the state. The leading role was given to the protagonist, meaning first contestant. This actor played not only the star role, but also minor roles, perhaps a messenger. The second actor was a deuteragonist, and the third was the tritagonist. A play could have many characters, but all of the characters had to be divided among these three actors. However, a play was allowed an unlimited number of extras or mutes, so the stage could have a dozen soldiers or village maidens without violating the rule of three. In addition, all roles were taken by men. Shifts from one character to another by male performers presented few problems because of costumes and masks. The actor's trained voice adapted itself to suit the character in the situation. Robes with long flowing sleeves, boots often with raised soles, and larger-than-life masks combined with sweeping gestures and declamatory delivery to create a dramatic, unbelievable impact. The mask identified the speaker as a male or a female, young or old, grief-stricken or hopeful. The open mouth of the mask was said to have increased the resonance of the actor's voice. Greek tragedy was at first wholly lyrical. The Greeks believed that musicians were an important part of celebrations, for each instrument had an emotional effect on the listener. It is difficult to imagine how the music sounded to the ears of the Greeks because the music we are accustomed to hearing today does not have the same tonal effect. However, instruments we would recognize are the flute, the lyre, and the trumpet. Dance, too, had a special meaning for the Greeks. Dance was defined as any expressive rhythmic movement. Thus, the chorus moved in unison in a stately manner from left to right and back again, or gestured in unison with broad, sweeping hand motions. The chorus helped set the mood, added beauty to the production, provided background information, divided the action into episodes, and reflected on events and themes. The chorus was made up of background characters such as town elders, young maidens, or captives of war. They asked questions, commented on actions, offered approval or criticism, and gave advice, usually through the chorus leader. Choral odes were an integral part of the tragedy, not to be considered outside the action. Just as the concept of the chorus is unfamiliar to 21st century theatergoers, so too are some other conventions of Greek theater. Greek tragedy usually followed what Aristotle called the three unities. Unity of action demanded a single action with no subplots or irrelevancies. Unity of time limited action to a 24-hour period, and unity of place decreed one unchanging scene, marketplace or temple or palace courtyard. For a number of reasons relating to unity or to the religious nature of the theater, playwrights employed the convention of messenger. Properly used, this convention achieved both immediacy through vivid reporting of offstage events and distance, violence suggested but not depicted. Other limitations of the theater existed. Unlike other characters who entered and exited, the chorus, 15 men in Sophocles' time, remained a continuous presence throughout the play. For the most part, they stood in the background, occasionally speaking with the character, but mainly silent until the recitation of the ode. Unlike the modern theater, there were no intermissions between acts, no opening and closing of a curtain, and no lighting effects, since plays were performed in outdoor theaters during daylight hours.